Unit 19, A Well-Balanced Act. Jean Francis Grandet was perhaps the most daring man who ever lived, and perhaps the craziest. His greatest desire was to entertain and amaze people. He measured his success by the number of people who fainted dead away after witnessing his death-defying feats. Grandet, a blond Frenchman, toured North America in 1850, billing himself as Blondin. Blondin's gift was superb balance. This talent, coupled with an unquenchable desire to astound his audiences, made Blondin an irresistible performer. His most famous feat was walking across Niagara Falls on a tightrope. Blondin's stage consisted of a 3-inch rope strung 1,100 feet across the falls. The rope hung some 160 feet above the jagged rocks and boiling water below the falls. Simply walking across the falls was not exciting enough for Blondin. He later had to ride across on a bicycle. Then, in another performance, he calmly walked across blindfolded. At still another time, he carried his terrified manager on his back and strolled over the falls before thousands of breathless spectators. But Blondin was undoubtedly his own worst critic. He was never satisfied with his act and always strove to overthrow his audience with his balancing wizardry. One of his most daring walks was made in the darkness of night. Blondin became so famous on his tour through North America that his last performance was attended by an admiring Prince of Wales. Unit 20. Why do they do it? Why would an animal commit suicide? It seems a strange question, and yet it is one that has intrigued some people for a long time. For there is a kind of rodent called the lemming that periodically commits mass suicide, and no one knows just why. The small creatures which inhabit the Scandinavian mountains sustain themselves on a diet of roots and moss and live in nests they burrow underground. When their food supply is sufficiently large, the lemmings live a normal, undisturbed rodent life. However, when the lemmings' food supply becomes too low to support the population, a singular migration commences. The lemmings leave their burrows en masse, forming huge hordes. Great numbers of the rodents begin a trek across the Scandinavian plains, a journey that may last weeks. The lemmings devour everything in their path, continuing their destructive march until they reach the sea. The reason for what follows remains an enigma for zoologists and naturalists. Upon reaching the coast, the lemmings do not stop, but swim by the thousands into the surf. Most they float only a short time before they tire, sink, and drown. A common theory for this mass suicide is that the lemmings do not realize that the ocean is such a huge body of water. In their cross-country journey, the animals must traverse many smaller bodies of water, such as rivers and small lakes. They may assume that the sea is just another such swimmable obstacle, but no final answer has been found to the mystery.